Okay.
Yeah.
Councillor
Might
Durant, are you
settle
there?
them all down.
Yes, I am, Mayor Brown.
Councillor McKinnon, are you there?
I am here, Your Worship.
Councillor Beck? I send him a text. Yeah. Michael, are you there, Mike Russ?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep. Okay. Just mute your mics, please. Okay, land acknowledgement. We acknowledge, appreciate that the land on which we gather is the traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq First Nation, and we have occupied this territory since time immemorial. Okay, on the agenda, call to order. I want to welcome 8:30, QP 8:30 tonight. And I see that Aaron Hanson is here from Charlottetown Area Development Corporation. Good to see you, Aaron. Any declarations of conflict of interest?
Yes, Your Worship.
Councillor Ramsey?
Yes, Your Worship. For 4B, I have a family member like involved with the construction firm,
Okay.
so I'll be leaving the room.
No, we have to wait for the agenda item to come up.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
When it comes up,
Okay.
I'll be leaving. Thank you.
Councillor McKinnon?
Yes, I'll be in conflict in 4A. I will be off.
Okay.
Your Worship, under approval agenda, I have a request when we get there.
Just one second. Okay. For number three, approval of agenda. Councillor Tweel?
Yeah. I read through the report, and I guess the question I have is, I understand the Finance Committee, excuse me, met, discuss these two particular items.
Yeah.
And one is the Human Resource Resolution to accept the UPSI collective agreement. So the question I have is, what was the rationale for this resolution and this motion to be vetted through the Finance Committee? What was, what's the logic and rationale for that?
Councillor McAleer or our finance manager, or I know that it is a financial matter, and other contracts that were passed by this council vetted through, and I sat on finance, were vetted through the Standing Committee of Finance and Administration. But do you want to add something, Councillor McAleer? Yeah. Just 1 second, sir. Go ahead.
No, I don't think I can share much different than what you've already said, Mayor Brown. I mean, it is a financial matter. I assume that had to go through a committee before it came to council for a resolution. And to me, I don't see an issue with it having been come through finance as a process to get it here to council. I don't know, Blaine, he's shaking his head, so that's all I can say. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Tweel.
Okay, so it's a financial matter. Are we talking, I'm looking for specifics. Are we talking new monies with this particular contract?
No.
Is there anything out of the ordinary? I read through the report to council. Through the report to council.
Councillor Tweel, why don't we just wait till we get to the
Well,
agenda?
because I'll tell you what happens.
Get to the agenda
No, but
item.
I'll tell you what
Yeah,
happens.
No.
No,
That's-
hear me out.
I've heard you. You're your second time up.
No.
We're
I'm not talking to a resolution.
Well, this is approval of the agenda.
That's right, so that's what I'm talking
Are
to.
you-
I'm talking about,
And what do you want?
what I want to know
Yes.
is the rationale for how it went through the Finance Committee. And if it's financial matters, what I'd like to know is, what were the financial matters? Because when I read through the report,
Yeah.
here, for example, it says financial implications, 2% increase approved and closed by council on August the 12th.
Yeah.
I don't recall city council approving anything.
Yeah. I do,
I don't.
yeah. Well, it was approved.
Well,
If
I
it's-
need to see the documentation.
Well, the
I don't
documentation's
recall
there.
that.
Yeah, the documentation's there, because I recall it. Councilor Bernard?
It goes through finance because obviously the 2% increase that if council agrees to in this resolution, then it has to go through finance to be able to give that permission. The 2% that he's talking about that's in the report is when we met with our lawyers and negotiated, came back on August 12th, I believe it was, we talked about percentages. But it goes through
No,
finance.
Council, that's it. No, we're moving on. Councilor McKinnon? He's waiting in the queue. Yeah, we
Yes,
just,
I
one second.
request,
Councilor McKinnon?
yes, Your Worship, I'd like to request moving around items 4A and 4B. I'm in conflict with 4A, so we can put it into B, and then I'll have that over with at the end.
So you want to move 4B to A to B, is correct?
Yes, please.
Okay. Second?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, second by Councilor Bernard. Everybody in favor? Okay, Councilor Drawn, yea or nay?
In favor?
Okay, let's put the first resolution on the floor. Yeah. So the first resolution is 4B, which is now 4A, Finance Audit Tender and Administration Resolution. Yep, go ahead, sir.
Finance, Audit, and Tendering and Administration Resolution Number 1, moved by Councillor John McAleer and seconded by Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff. Let it be resolved that as per the conditions of the public tender for the Houston Street Irving redevelopment project, the submission of CP construction in the amount of $1,697,000 plus all applicable taxes be accepted, and that the mayor and the CEO are hereby authorized to execute standard contracts and agreements to implement this resolution.
And we do have Michael Russ that's online. Councilor McAleer, do you want to address anything about this resolution, or just want to move it right to the vote?
I'd just like to make a comment on, on the resolution. Is it appropriate I just think it's great that it's coming, it's on, it's on the council floor. It's a project that started long before I was involved with council here. And I know there's been a lot of great work done. There was a committee that did a lot of work. Michael Grady, Kim Devine, I believe, Jerry Moore. This took a lot of time to get it here. I think it's an exciting possibility if the resolution's passed and construction commences on on this project. So looking forward to any questions on the resolution and see where it goes. Thank you.
Aaron Hanson, who is project manager from CADC, do you wish to add anything? Okay. Okay. Councillor Twill.
I didn't realize you could have people speak from the gallery. Not that I don't value Mr. Hanson's, what he brings to the table. That's a new one on me.
Yeah. No, I wasn't asking. Again, he's a project manager.
I understand that.
Michael Russ
I understand that.
is also part of the project,
Yeah.
so you need the expertise
Right.
to give their opinions.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Your
So-
question?
So, yeah. Back at September the 3rd, I submitted a notice of motion. It was read at the subsequent regular monthly meeting. I'm going to read it again. I sent it to Tracy. Excuse me. I would respectfully request a notice of motion regarding the Irving Oil project. I'm requesting all of the costs associated with the project thus far. That includes the anticipated capital cost, architectural cost, which includes conceptual designs, detailed designs, the number of architectural firms that have been included in the project thus far, personnel that have worked on the project from a layperson's perspective, how much have they been paid, who's responsible for retaining these particular people. Secondly, what are the anticipated capital costs? What are the anticipated operational costs? How much is CADC being paid as a newly coordinated project consultants? What is the arrangement? Who made the arrangements? How much time has senior management in the Planning and Heritage Department been involved and invested in the project? What are the final terms and conditions of the contract with Irving Oil? What are the timeframes and timelines for the completion of the project? I am requesting a public consultation with city residents. This can be accomplished by having a series of public meetings, online consultation, with social media platforms. And I want the constituents to be very informed and involved every step of the way. All other relevant information regarding this project is important, imperative to have from a transparency and open perspective. The residents are required to have all this knowledge and information. So, at our last council meeting, we approved through Heritage a resolution. I noticed a motion that was submitted back in September, early September. My questions yet to be answered. So here we are, we're going to pass another resolution, and still, my questions haven't been answered. Those are reasonable, responsible questions, right? Feedback I've received from the community. 3 years working on this project, we have never once talked to the public. I understand when negotiations take place in camera, land acquisitions, land transactions, they take place in a closed-door session because of the negotiations are sacred. And I understand that, and I said, excuse me, at our last meeting, I respect the process, okay? So the process played out. But yet, when I asked for, are we going to have consultation with the community, any type of collaboration, am I going to get my questions answered? It's responsible government. To no avail. They're being ignored. I'm totally disappointed. I'm totally disappointed. You know, you try to be proactive with your questioning, seeking information in a reasonable, respectful way, yet to no avail. And the question is, why? Why hasn't my questions been answered? We are elected to bring good governance to the council chamber, and I fail to see why these questions have yet to be answered, and these questions are coming from the community. So, very disappointed, Mr. Mayor. Very disappointed that this hasn't taken place.
Yeah.
I thought when we filed a notice of motion, you file a notice of motion to be proactive, to be responsible, to be realistic, so that we can have openness and transparency, real openness and real transparency.
Yeah, so this, for the record, this project has been going on for 4 years, as of October 12th. Michael Russ has put something together, that's why CADC project manager's here. Michael, did you want to add anything to what he stated? I think it's in the package, right?
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you to Councillor Twill. I certainly appreciate the questions and understand that you're looking for some of that information. I believe some of that information is in the package here this evening. However, we're still working on pulling previous files to the Mayor's point and to Councillor McAleer's previous point. This project has been going on for a number of years, so we're pulling files from years past to pull together a comprehensive report to provide all that information to you in one comprehensive package. So unfortunately, we don't have that here tonight. I don't believe we had any direction to put the project on pause in order to provide that, but if there was a misunderstanding there, we can certainly have that discussion.
Councillor Bernard.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to say, I know we've been waiting for this project for quite a while, and as the building continues to deteriorate, so I think everybody's been excited to see this resolution finally come to council. I said this afternoon, I'll say it again, Aaron Hansen, as everybody knows, with CADC, has got quite a history of doing projects and doing very, very, very good projects. So pretty excited to see Aaron leading this project, and excited to see this resolution. we've all seen the design. Design's very desirable, and I think that this is what the public's been looking for a long time. So in the resolution, I think the price is $1.67 or $69 million, which we have partnerships with the provincial government, Irving, federal government. So looking forward to getting this off the ground. I think people will be very pleased. Thank you.
Councillor Twill.
Well, I think everyone's always excited when it comes to projects, but I come back to what I said earlier. People are looking for openness and transparency. To pass resolutions to say, okay, here's what we're doing, and yet there are many questions in the community. People have a right to know. I mean, we approve a lot of projects. We go out to public consultation on a number of items in this city. We've initiated many different discussions with respect to different initiatives. This is nothing new. So if you look at the total cost of this project, I think it's in the ballpark of, say, $3 million. Maybe with cost overruns or unanticipated costs, it could cost even more. So when you're spending $3 million or more, monies of that magnitude, I believe that all that information should be forthcoming and put out into the community so the community knows exactly what this expenditure consists of. And I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed that this didn't happen. Over that 3-year period, again, discussions had taken place. I respected the process. I did. I mean that sincerely. I respected all negotiations. No one here said a word publicly. So I said, okay, I'll wait. Now we're ready to move. The train is leaving the station, and we're doing things incrementally where we don't have a holistic approach to what the expenditures are and who paid, how they were retained, who recruited them. All of these questions deserve to be answered. The community wants to know. That's reasonable.
So, speaking to Mr. Hanson before the meeting, he has a document there, and this document was passed out to council when it was still under the dome because of Irving Oil's concern. The document, I think, is dated September 22nd.
2022, you mean?
Yes.
Yep.
That's the document that we went over. That will become a public document. It outlines, Aaron, contributions from ACOA, contributions from Innovation PEI, contribution from Urban Energy, contribution from the City of Charlottetown, and then it outlines the expenses. And the document, that's a Class D estimate, which was put together, I know the research was done by Michael Grady, who was the team leader on this project. And this information will be very public. We had to be very concerned about what information was going out to the public because of the sensitivity that Urban Energy had with this project. But now that it's an open book, it's an open textbook, it's available. Any other questions? Councillor Tweely spoke twice in the resolution. We're moving on. 3 times? Go ahead.
Okay, somebody here in this chamber give me a time frame when all those questions are going to be answered, okay? Am I going to wait next month, 6 months, next year, 5 years? I want the information. Okay, when? Can I get a timeline?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be too hard.
No. Michael?
It shouldn't be too hard.
Michael?
So,
Can you give him a timeline?
For completion?
No, just the information he's looking for. Can you hear me,
all
Michael?
the questions, my notice of
Yeah.
motion.
Thank you, Your Worship, through you to Councillor Tweel. Based on the information that we've been able to pull together to date, we're hoping to have a report through Finance Committee and before Council in November.
November 2025, correct?
That's correct, Your Worship.
Okay.
So that's all of my questions. They'll all be answered in November, correct?
It's probably a time.
That's correct.
Is that what he said?
Okay. Councillor Bernard?
Actually, I think I think you had already answered. I was just going to say, we had all those figures given to us when we were in closed door sessions because of Irving's wanted to keep it closed, but we had all the breakdown of the partners and the funding and so on. So that's all be available. I'm assuming that's what Mike's talking about, that we'll have in November, is the breakdown of the cost and who's contributing to it. So, but we had that given to us during the meetings.
Okay. Question? Questions called? Okay, all those in favor? Councillor Duran, yea or nay?
In favor?
Councillor McKinnon, yea or nay?
Yay.
Okay, all those against? Councillor Twill, okay. So we're missing, can you just call, Councillor McKinnon, are you going to sign off?
Yeah, if we're moving on, I'll be signing off. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Okay. Okay. Just leave that in the, yeah. Do you want to read out the resolution?
Human Resources Resolution Number 1, moved by moved by Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff, seconded by Councillor Julie McCabe. Let it be resolved that the City of Charlottetown accept the draft Union of Public Sector Employees collective agreement for the term January 1st, 2025 through to December 31st, 2028 as per attached documents, effective October 21st, 2025. And that the mayor and the CEO hereby authorized to execute the agreement to implement this resolution.
Councillor Twill.
Thank you. I read the agreement to the best of my ability. I mean, it's just got the agreement a day or so ago, trying to understand it. So if you look at this particular agreement and you compare it to the previous agreement that was signed by UPSI, could I have a thumbnail sketch as to what the new additions are in the agreement? So if I wanted to do a comparative analysis, could someone here please outline what the differences are, the substantial differences are in this agreement versus the previous agreement? Because when you're voting, I want to make sure I totally understand what I'm voting on. Please.
Okay. So Councillor Beck's not here, Councillor McKinnon's not here. Who's the other member? Councillor McKinnon, do you want to defer to your manager?
I don't even think this came through our committee in any kind of fine. I know we were presented.
It's-
We have not really looked at
So
it,
it's just
so I'm,
through-
yeah.
It's a finance issue.
We were briefed on the fact that there was an agreement reached. Our meeting was canceled last month, so we are here tonight. No, we didn't come through and go through it in a fine tooth comb.
So Councillor, excuse me, CAO Brad, do you just want to defer it to our manager?
I think that'd be best. Emily could probably speak to it.
Emily McLeod. Mic's on.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through Your Worship to Councillor Twill. All the changes in the agreement are bolded. There are no substantial changes to this agreement. A lot of the changes were housekeeping, i.e. adding National Truth and Reconciliation Day observed on September 30th. The largest change to the agreement would have been Article 7, breaking down the overtime and how that's administered. Some other changes would be recognizing previous service in the same or similar position for work, Article 1107. Sick leave, there was a change. Employees must advise the employer as soon as they're aware that they'll not be able to attend work pursuant to this article. Income averaging leave, there was a change that they must advise the employer of income averaging before December 15th. The previous version of the agreement stated January 15th, but we need to know before the start of the new calendar year for income averaging. We added in Article 2201, a new article, where employees must advise the employer with as much notice as reasonably possible when they'll be retiring. And this is to ensure there's no pay gap for those employees because the actuaries do the calculation for those pension payments. An employee can retire, of course, whenever they would like, but in order to guarantee no pay gap, we require at least 8 weeks' notice. And I think the only other change in here was under Article 2907, which is an article for specific to temporary employees. It was very limited, and it was hard to have anyone do contract or temporary employment when filling in for a short-term illness, for example, because it did not include articles pertaining to overtime or on-call pay. And the intent of this article wasn't to limit the operations of those staff, but rather to ensure we are hiring and promoting for permanent roles. But when there is an illness or someone on long-term disability or a WCB type of leave or out sick, we do need the ability to hire a contract staff and deploy them. So that was the rationale for that change. And the only other change is the 2% increase for wages.
Okay. Councilor Bernard?
Thank you, Your Worship. So yeah, pretty excited to hear that this was agreed to. And it was, I guess, a fairly short time frame. I believe at our meeting this afternoon, Emily, you had said that this only took a day and a half to negotiate.
Yes,
I'm
correct.
just wondering, what is the difference between this one and the one local 803?
830.
830, sorry. What's the difference as far as, like, why is one fairly quickly and one's not being agreed to?
I can't really speak to, I guess, what's really going on in 830. All I can say is when we went to the table for the UPSI agreement, and as UPSI came to the table, there were no significant asks on either side. It was simply cleaning up language, and they actually were the ones to come to the table with the monetary piece.
Okay, so they both have, all, you were saying all the unions have the COLA clause?
Correct.
Okay, and the COLA clause is the cost of living adjustment, so if inflation goes up, it triggers that. And I
Yes.
think it was triggered twice. I think it was 2021 it was triggered.
Yep.
2021, yeah, I think it was 4.3%. I think 2022.
4.1, and then the other year was 7.8.
Yeah. What year was that? 2020.
2020 and 2021, or 2021 and 2022. I don't have it in front of me.
So then it has an inflation trigger in there that if the inflation, I think if it goes above 2% above what the.
1%. There's a 1%.
1%, okay,
Yep.
okay. And that's good to know, that's looked after, so, yeah, because I recall it was triggered, I think it was, around COVID or what have you, so, and that shows that it works at 4.1 and 7.8, so that's like 12% in 2 years, so. I'm just wondering, so. Okay, I'm just kind of looking for something that, why we're, anyway, hopefully we get the other 830 on side here pretty soon. We'll be able to get an agreement. But anyway, this is good news. And yeah, I'll be passionate. So, thank you.
Councilor Twill?
So everything that you just outlined, was there any additions financially in the UPSI agreement? That's the first question. Second question, and again, I tried to understand the contract. When we're talking UPSI employees, could you illustrate as to who they are? And thirdly, is there any new hires with this contract? Any new positions or any new hires? Yeah. It did go through finance. Member of the committee, Councilor McCabe, said it didn't go through human resources. So again, I'm just trying to the best of my ability to absorb as much information and to understand it clearly. Thank you.
wish to answer their CAO, or do you want to defer it to the manager?
I will defer to the manager again, Your Worship.
Okay. Thank you,
Emily
Worship.
McLeod.
Over to Councillor Tweel. The first response, I guess, all the positions are outlined in the back of that collective agreement under Appendix A. And there would have been no new positions added to this in bargaining. Those would all come through at budget time when we request new positions or new initiatives. In terms of other financial aspects, the overtime bank and how it's administered would be a financial change in a sense that UPSI folks would now have the ability to bank their overtime and take it at a later date or get paid out their overtime. They always did have a payout of overtime in the collective agreement, but it was administered in a different way. So it's just a change in the administration of how overtime is administered. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They ratified this last week.
Councillor Drawn, I can't see you, but do you have any questions?
No, I don't, Mayor Brown. I'm just glad to, get this over with. It's a positive step moving forward, and let's just get the other ones going, and perfect. Thank you.
Question? Questions called. Questions called. All those in favor? Councillor Drawn, yea or nay?
In favor?
So just a note for the record, Councillor McKinnon declared conflict of interest, and Councillor Beck didn't sign in, so I think he's vacationing. Okay, another motion. Motion to adjourn. No, special bit. Under special meeting, did you look at your agenda? No, not in this. Motion to adjourn? Moved. All in favor?